the last month that I feel as though I have turned a corner. And I said, I'm trying to understand what I mean by turning a corner. And I think part of the explanation is I am not as attached as I used to be. I see Baba as a great inner event that doesn't depend upon anyone or anything at all. As a matter of fact, when you are really at bay in terms of everything descending on your head, you find out, perhaps, you realize more what you've had all along. So only when you're at bay in the world sometimes do you enter into the condition that will make you see what a rare thing you have been living with all these years without fully appreciating it. So the point I would make is the point that Baba made. It's simply that I'm coming to a better understanding of it. He said, focus on me as best as you can. I am the means of freeing you. One day, everything that you admire with eyes that can see, I am that. I am that, and the more you see me, the more drawn to me you will become, to the point where nothing can detract you again. And you will become increasingly free. And Baba said, you will find that I have always been your own higher self. What's a higher self? You can imagine something some person that is so magnificent, however your imagination conjures up the qualities of this person. You can imagine someone that magnificent, and Baba is that and infinitely beyond that. And Baba says, do you know why, when you begin to see me, that you're really drawn to me? Because I am you. I am the best in you. You long for me because you long for your own reality. You are beautiful beyond description. You long for me so much, and you look for me in so many wrong places, illusory places. But those places too that you have looked have represented progress. Because without being disillusioned, you never would have come to the place where you began to see and look for me in the right way. This is the thing that Solomon pointed out today. He was talking about all of this suffering that a person apparently goes through. And I said, yes, Paul. I said, that's exactly the way I feel. That when you really look at all of this journey that you've taken, all this so-called suffering, that suffering was progress. Because it led me to the place here, led you to the place here, where you're able to see something meaningful. Without going this way, you perhaps would not have gotten to that point. So our task is a very simple task. Whatever it is that causes you to say, I have no choice now except to try. I remembered in the discourses something that Baba said. You come to a place where you look back, you're willing to change your approach to everything, your way of looking at everything. You come to the place where you see the total bankruptcy of all your past efforts. And it's that experience that says that gives you the necessary incentive with hope. It's not simply a dry, barren thing, not at all. Because if you see something that's so bankrupt about yourself, and then you're willing to try something new, that's far from being a hopeless outlook. That's a coming to a realization that's very important. You come to the place where you say, now I can capitalize on my relationship with Baba. I am indeed fortunate. When I was in New York talking to those people up there, I really tried to explain what was already a fact, that we are very fortunate in having this conviction. Very fortunate in having this conviction, because it makes possible a real, meaningful change in our consciousness. It makes possible a growth in the conviction that we have. And that's very, very important. Baba has to be seen for what he really is. The rarest of opportunities without any parallel whatsoever. Always the God-man affects everything in creation. The spiritual perfect masters are absolutely God-conscious. But their area of functioning, as Baba has said, is circumscribed. When God is in the world in the physical body, every prayer, when the avatar, the Messiah, descends into human birth and lives a human life, every single prayer and aspiration that comes from a genuine heart goes directly through the avatar. From whatever source, from whatever culture, from whatever identification an individual has with a religion or no religion, if it comes from the heart, it goes to the avatar. His experience is so far beyond what we could even begin to conceive of and imagine with the greatest mind. But you get little glimpses here and there that make you all of a sudden become transfixed about the staggering thing that you can see, which is nothing. And so the God-man says, listen, that's not necessary for you to understand all this. Just love me. I am worthy of love. So when you try to love someone who is truly worthy of love, you are doing something that is very important with your own consciousness. You are taking it away from all of the unreal preoccupations, and you're beginning to try to direct it towards something that can have real fruition for you, a real freeing. What you begin to see more and more and more by this effort of yours will result in it being easier and more and more easy for you to think less and less and less about illusion and become intrigued about the reality that I am totally the symbol of. You see, the first thing is to get right with Baba yourself. Keep it in the front of your mind. Immediately, when you begin to think about Baba in the beginning, you're not really seeing or feeling anything of significance about Baba because your mind is still out there. It's just a thought. The thought has to become such, just as though if you look over here and you're deeply preoccupied about something, let's say Baba is standing right there, and you've just gone through a traumatic experience, okay, that really rocks you to the bottom of your feet. And you look over here at Baba. Are you seeing Baba? Your mind is preoccupied upon this. That's exactly what it means to be attached to illusion. So your mind is preoccupied. Your consciousness is a captive of your thoughts. And your thoughts are rooted in your fears. And your fears are born of thinking illusion to be reality. So, when we look at Baba, just as I was reading the discourse, I think all of us probably, the more we heard, the more our minds became a little more quiet, and a little more quiet, and gradually began to hear some things. Same way. If I work with Baba, I don't want to see those people out there that are putting pressure on me, that come up with all kinds of things that I might react to in my work. But if I am thinking of Baba in a meaningful way, I am less bothered because my vulnerability is less, because I now see something that is really important and really real, and I'm related to it, as everyone is. The simple difference is some people are more conscious of it than others. That's the only difference. We're all that. And then when I go and deal with my problems, I'm much more effective in not reacting. And if the less I react, the more I see, the more I understand, the more I can cope with the many things that have to be coped with. So what I'm really saying is the same thing as you, Grant. It's just that my way of putting it is, I realize that the first thing is to try to keep Baba in the front in a meaningful way. And that's not going to be easy, but we have to keep working at it.